So we cut back to Pike in his quarters, and now Admiral Pike is back. And Admiral Pike tells younger Pike, he's like, and it gets even worse because the war with as they were warping away, the Romulans broadcast over all channels that the Romulans were declaring war on the Federation. So this little event right here opened up an absolute war between the 2 points, as Admiral Pike is catching Captain Pike up on what some of the further consequences were. He says it's still going on to that day, so it'd be, years later, probably 15 years later, I'm guessing, just based off the uniforms. And he says that the best chance for long-lasting peace between the Federation and the Romulan Empire was lying on a biobed downstairs. So he points that out. Captain Pike opens the box with time crystals in it and summons Kirk, who asks if he was interrupting anything. And he says no and invites him in. And they kind of both have a moment. He offers him a drink, and they both kind of have a moment like, I think I was supposed to meet you.
Yeah, that was a weird scene.
Well, I think, there was probably just a sense of there was some destiny there, because at some point, Pike chooses Kirk to replace him as captain of the Enterprise. And now we know it's because of this alternate universe when he goes back to our universe.
Yeah, because in the Prime timeline, Kirk had only met him like one time. Not so for Pike, though.
Nope. Pike asks Kirk about him, like, hey, tell me about yourself, as they sit down to have a drink together. And we get a quick drop, hey, I was born in Iowa, and then my father was the first officer aboard the Kelvin. And then it fades out of that. We cut back over into the Prime universe now. Pike is reviewing Jim Kirk's file to see who he was in this present time. Kirk is presently a lieutenant assigned to the Farragut, and his commendations are extensive for one of his age. There's also the mention of being a witness to the massacre on Tarsus 4. His door chimes heralding Spock. Remembering what he saw in the time crystal vision, Pike expresses how glad he is to see Spock here, even though to Spock he had only seen him moments ago. Spock reminds him of how he left the briefing and his reaction to hearing Mott's name, wondering if it pertained to Pike's knowledge of his future. Pike replies only that the universe has shown him that some fates were inescapable, and even if he could get out of his, it might just fall onto someone else, someone he knew. Spock says he feels like he owes him a debt of gratitude, but he's not sure for what. Pike expresses how important Spock is to him, a feeling that Spock reciprocates, calling him Chris for the first time.
Yeah, man, that scene, 2 times in a row, I had a little tears in my eyes. This whole exchange just reminded me of, he doesn't obviously say it, but Pike basically doing the needs of the many speech, and then, you will always be my friend and that stuff. That's the vibe I got from what Pike was saying to Spock here.
Oh, absolutely,
and it just made me tear up, dude. But it also solidifies why Spock would go through so many lengths in the menagerie to get him back to Talos.
Yeah, after this episode, you're like, oh, now I get it.
Yeah, I mean, because it's not really expounded upon in TOS. I mean, nor did they feel like they needed to, but stuff like this it makes sense because they have a really close relationship here.
It was a nice scene. I mean, it was, So Pike is kind of resigned to, he erases the letter he was writing to Mott. He has decided that, okay, well, I tried it. It was not going to work. And now it's just time to accept what's going on and move forward with my life.
But then he gets on the bridge smiling like a crazy person.
Yeah, everybody was kind of looking at him like, did you hit your head? You okay?
This whole scene was so cringy, dude. Just the way he was smiling to everybody. It was like, whoa, man.
Yeah.
Tone it down a little bit.